Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video and welcome to another episode of my Wolfspire Park series, in which I'm creating a custom park in Planet Coaster 2 completely from scratch. If you haven't seen the previous 6 episodes, I would recommend you go back and watch them before you watch this, because there will be a lot you have missed otherwise. Anyway, as you can see in the background now, I'm starting work on our second coaster in the park and our third ride in our Poseidon themed water area. So I was doing a lot of work on this coaster in between the episodes, just trying to make sure everything was working right, and there were a lot of different formats for this coaster. Like, this is probably the 10th version of it or something. I knew I wanted to go with some sort of water coaster, splash themed. Obviously to do with Poseidon theming, all of that stuff. Doing a splash coaster just made more sense. So you can see there, I've just added in the splash section. And yeah, the theming for this coaster I have put a lot of work into. It is by far the longest ride that has taken me to build in this entire park, even the ones you haven't seen built yet. The queue line isn't my favourite, I'll say that much, but the on-ride scenery is got to be one of the best I've ever made on this game. So just keep on watching to find out what I build. As you can see right now, here's a little on-ride view of what the ride looks like so far. Obviously without any scenery at all, so just the basic ride. Starts off with a drop, a couple turns, obviously the splash section later. It's a family coaster, or maybe like not family, but it's not exactly a high thrill coaster. Like, obviously the splash elements add a bit of fear to it, so it's probably like a teen and adult ride. Definitely not family, but definitely not a high thrill coaster. I also think this coaster is just very good in its layout. Like, it's completely smooth everywhere. I think it runs really well. And it does look very good once I finish adding all the theming. I knew I wanted to obviously go with Poseidon as the main influence for this ride. So I then thought, what would be good to do with gods? Temples. So I know we'd already built a coaster, Gorgon, around ruined temple. This is going to be somewhat ruined, but not in the same way. Like, it's only ruined because it's old. Other than that, it is going to look like a new, or not new, but well kept temple. It's gonna look like people use this building. Obviously getting all these walls to fit together around the station was a bit of a hassle. I did have to go off-grid a bit, which makes building the rest of the ride a little bit more difficult. As I've already said, it's not my favourite queue scenery, station scenery, but it does the job for what I wanted it to. I was happy with it at the end of this. Okay, as you can see, I've added in a lot of pillars, arches around the place, sort of make it feel like there's been a lot of work done on it. I did add some deteriorated parts in these beams along the top, but that's only, like, it doesn't look completely ruined like the scenery around the Gorgon queue does. It's sort of just, as I said, it looks old. That's it. Other than that, I think it does look like a very good temple. Exactly what I wanted as well, which is the main thing. A little overview of what it looked like around the ride and in the scenery. I then decided to add in flooring around the queue. I went with a white marble to go with the wall, make it look once again like a temple. And same with the walls, I did have a bit of an issue making it line up with the station parts, so I did have to go off grid for some of it, but it wasn't too big of an issue. I was able to do it all fine. I then decided to once again make these statues of Poseidon, which there are now quite a few of around the park. I think these are 3, 4, 5 now or something. But obviously, as I said, I wanted to go with Poseidon theme, and in Greek temples they would have had a lot of statues of gods, so I did want to make the scenery around the queue look very nice, which I think these statues helped a lot with. I do later go on to add some more scenery in the queue, which I think we do actually go on to now. I started making these custom lights to place around. What you're seeing now is only an early version of them. They do go and change a lot. I add pillars in and then I completely scrap it and start over again, so yeah, there's a lot of work. I do go over and change a lot of things. Often what you'll see me make the first time isn't what ends up being in the final version of the park. A lot of stuff there does get cut out because there's just so much of me going back over, changing everything several times. It's a lot of work. I then decide to add in a bit of colour around the place, so I add in those banners you've just seen me put up, them along with the torches. Add a bit more colour in, but with black in, it just being a white surface. I didn't really like that. Anyway, as I said, I'm now adding in more scenery around the queues. I thought these pots or vases, whatever you want to call them, they added in a lot of scenery to it, made it feel more like a temple. This is what you would see if you walked into a Greek temple, offerings to the god almost. Anyway, on to the main ride now. You'll just see me put up that massive statue of Poseidon, which I did decide to animate, so as you're going down the drop, it moves towards you, which isn't exactly realistic for that massive statue to be moving like it does, but I do not care. It looks really cool on ride and particularly off ride. Anyway, I did not want to have the stark contrast from water to land in that lake I set up, so I laid some rocks around the edge of the water, a sort of rock wall, and then I added a ton of plants on there. You'll only see like part of it, but I do go all out and completely cover that thing in plants, which I then do to the rest of the island. I save that cluster of rocks and plants, the blueprint, and just copy and pasted it all around the edge of there, and then did even more in the centre. So yeah, this is what I mean by I said I went all out for theming on this ride. Like, I didn't want to have it all packed in, close together, like you're going through buildings. I wanted it to feel like you're exploring almost. I don't know, but I wanted to have it so you're going through nature, going around the water. And yeah, I think the rocks and plants I did on this ride is pretty impressive. Like, this is probably about 2 hours of work right here, so yeah. This is a lot of work. Yeah, I'm just right now adding in some more rocks all over the place. I wanted to make it not seem like a barren wasteland like it was. I did want to like make it feel cluttered with stuff. Whether that be rocks, plants, I do add in some trees as well. I like the trees on roller coasters, like going near them, it's really nice on this game. As you can see, trees in the background there now, but what I was just doing there, I created more trigger sequences. So I've got one for the statue, and then I add in some more splash effects alongside the splash made by the coaster itself. I then add some more in the water around the ride. They're pretty easy to set up, to be honest. I just laid them in first and then went in to create the trigger sequence, and I think it makes a really nice effect when you're on the ride. Like having the water go up around you is a really nice effect. I then set up another smaller pool of water next to the station, because that was also currently a barren wasteland, and then I added some more trees around there. I didn't add rock walls all the way around, but I do like raise the terrain, make it more integrated into it. Anyway, on to the next part of theming this coaster, which was actually customizing the coaster itself, or the trains. I didn't want to go all out on it, like I wanted to keep it somewhat recognisable, so I changed the colour to gold, and then I put trident shields all over it. Obviously that's with the Poseidon theming once again. And you can see changing the colour to a darker gold. and here we go, a little quick POV of the ride. Obviously finished everything with it now, is completely done. And yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. So I hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know what you think of this coaster and what you think will be in the next episode. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.